Okay guys, so the Chromebook I used today had Intel Sandy Bridge mobile graphics with two 1.10 gigahertz processors, and it had 4 gigabytes of RAM. Okay guys, so the general booting up of the game took a little bit over a minute. I'm going to speed it up to about 4 times the speed. So the next thing I did is I went over to the settings and I turned down every single possible setting I saw. I turned down the HDR mode, the shader quality, the grass density, every single thing possible. I mean, if I didn't catch everything, just let me know down in the comments. But yeah, I mean, you can see I'm turning down every single possible setting to ensure that it is performing at the highest level. As you can see, it is estimated to perform at 156%. So, I mean, we'll have to see if that actually goes into the gameplay that we see. Okay, guys, so the first test I did to actually test out the game is I went over to custom battles and I tried out 100% composition of just footmen. So, no bow and arrows, nothing like that, no horses. And I set each army size to about 200 and put it on the first, I think probably the most basic of environments, and now we can see how that runs. After a couple of seconds, the game did in fact load. It was playable within the first few minutes, and I actually enjoyed it. It was fine. I was able to time everything I wanted. I was able to move my character like I wanted, and everything was running smoothly. But as you'll see, as the battle does progress, it does become a little bit more chaotic in terms of like frame rate and that type of thing, and it does get very laggy and in essence unplayable after a while. So I'll do a little bit of an analysis on that in the end. As you can see, after a little while, all the units came together and they compressed into one giant mass, and at this point I could tell there was a noticeable drop in frame rate and the playability of it just completely decreased. Alright guys, so for the next custom battle test, what I did is I changed each army's composition to 100% archer, because what I've noticed when I played the game is that, especially on the Chromebook, is that whenever the archers start shooting a volley of arrows, it does get very, very laggy because the game has to load all of those objects at the same time. But I actually reduced the army size to 25 soldiers per army, so now we can go in and watch that. Alright guys, as you could see, 25 soldiers was completely doable for the Chromebook, and it did lag in certain parts, but overall it was playable and it was much better than when all the soldiers kind of collided into one mass and it was just, you couldn't tell what was going on. So now we're going to be moving on to the actual game, where you have to move around the map and all that type of thing, because when you get Mount & Blade, you don't do it specifically for the custom battles, you do it for the actual role-playing of it. So let's go ahead and move on to that test. After creating a character, it puts you in this like town setting, and when you're faced with just one guy, it's not very graphically demanding. So I mean, you kind of have to take this, I guess you can call a mini test, with a grain of salt, because the Chromebook just has to load up one unit, you, in the very small environment. So it didn't lag, as you can tell, but really this isn't completely indicative of the performance of it. So let's move on to a larger scale. One of the first things I noticed was how responsive the map was. I really expected it to be very laggy and unresponsive, when actually it moved fluently and it felt like you were gaming on just a regular computer. So it was completely fine. After recruiting a couple of soldiers, I confronted a band of looters, and it did lag a little bit after confronting them, but afterwards the combat was just fine. Because in Mount & Blade you can progressively get better and carry more men with you and that type of thing, I decided to test the game on a very large scale with horses, the whole 9 yards really. So this next test is a custom battle on Oasis, and because I didn't have to play through a bunch of the story or whatever, I just set up 200 men on each side and then put in archers, horsemen, every single unit possible, and from what you can see, it is very laggy and completely unplayable. So I just left after the first 3 seconds because I decided not to deal with it. What you can take from this is that the game is completely playable on small levels with very minimal amounts of men. So if you want to just mess around on the game for a couple minutes, you know, in a custom battle, then do it. I mean, the game will work and it will work fine in that aspect. But if you want to actually play the game and progress and carry a large party of say 150 men who are all on horseback, I don't know if this is going to be for you. So it really depends on what you want in the game. The game is playable, but as you further progress and the more units you have, it's only playable to a degree. So I hope this helps you guys, and I hope you're informed on this. Be sure to check up on my channel and subscribe, because I plan to be doing a video where I showcase Dota 2 on the Chromebook and how well that runs. Alright guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will catch you later. Peace.